Since I have pickle already mixed up, we have this coyote. I screwed up. I popped the top of one ear up trying to get the cartilage out. I screwed the tail up. It is so full of cockerburrs. That was part of the problem. See that? Is that cockerburr? I mean, it's just full of them. But anyways, it's just going to be a wall hanger. But since it's dried, this is going to take us a while to But since we're doing all this tanning, I figured might as well do these critters I got. We'll come back in a couple hours and move this around a little bit. I don't know, this evening I'll move it around a little bit. I think a deer hide is hard. You ought to try this coyote hide. I think we're just going to go ahead and neutralize it, tan it. I mean, it's been 5 days in the acid, and I don't see where it's doing any. Okay, to neutralize this, I want 4 tablespoons of baking soda in 4 gallons of water. That looks like about so I've already pre-measured and marked where 4 gallons is at. And see, if you do it this way, I don't have to stir it up. You see it's all dissolved already. If you would add it after you fill it up, you're going to have to stir it up. There it goes. Now, since this is a coyote, you only need to put it in there for about 15-20 minutes. You don't have to put it in there for 45 like I did deer hide. Okay, we're going to let it hang here until it quits dripping. And then we're going to tan it. And it's interesting because when I put it in the acid, it wasn't taking up the acid, but yet when I put it in the baking soda, it changes color. But an interesting thing, when you see spots like that and that, I just rinsed it off with a hose and didn't want to get my camera wet, but that was ticks. You'll see that a lot on coons too, but those were tick bites. I don't know, man, must have been 30 ticks I pulled off this coyote. We are going to try out the orange bottle. We're going to try the orange bottle out. On a coyote. Now I did something you normally don't do. I took a garden hose and got got all these ticks out of it. It was just full of ticks. Sprayed them out. I use that McKenzie's. I don't know, my paintbrush just seems to be soaking it up now. The one big difference is this hide was fully dried before I put it in the pickle. I just don't understand why the pickle, it did not do anything in the pickle. And why does this take 5 to 7 days? Why does this take 5 to 7 days? Okay, McKenzie's, it's just 5-hour tan. We got a lot of hide roll in here where it dried. See that? Probably should just cut it off. I don't know how coyotes manage to stay warm in the wintertime. Man, compared to a deer hide, they sure are a thin-skinned animal. Alright guys, you think I ought to fold it over itself, but do you think that I ought to do like I did the deer hide and wrap it in plastic? One of the reasons I rehydrated it, because the fur wasn't straight. Alright, we're going to get some plastic, cover it in plastic. We're going to let that sit overnight like that. Alright guys, see what it looks like tomorrow. Okay guys, we're back at it. We're checking this after the next day. We're trying this. You see, this is the really cheap stuff you see in all the trapping magazines, and that's what we're going to try. So this has been overnight. Ooh, there's a tick right there. See it? And tanning acid really did a number on it, didn't it? That there's a tick. I thought I got them all out of the hide. I know, it sure was full of cockerburls. See that tick? Okay. Still pretty wet. I need to hang this thing as soon as possible, but I'm trying to get, my whole purpose was I wanted this whole center, I wanted this line straight, and it wasn't. And that's what I've been trying to do, is straighten this up. We're gonna let the first side dry overnight again, and then we will start breaking the fibers. Okay, this is day 3, trying to dry it out a little bit, and several times a day you need to pull it over an object, over either a rope or something. Post is what I'm using to break this hide to where you see it turn white. That's the only way you're going to keep it. The only way you're going to have it being soft is you got to break those fibers down as it dries. See, it's dry out here, but last night that was still pretty wet. But the reason I want to hang it like this is one of the reasons I redid this is these fibers weren't laying, the hair wasn't laying straight. I want it nice and straight. Although it's just going to be a wall hanger. We did a podcast and I didn't have any kind of good backdrop, so this is what you have to do if you're going to tan a hide. There's just no ifs or buts about it unless you have a tumbler. If you got a tumbler, you don't have to do this. But if you want this hide to be nice and soft, where you can bend it and not be all stiff, sorry, it's nighttime, but if you want good hides, unless you got a tumbler, this is what you got to do. Okay, you're going to turn it so the flesh side is out. Use some kind of pole somewhere, rope, string, something, and you're going to sit here and do this. And do this 3 times a day as it's drying. You gotta get, that's what you gotta do. And then I'll turn it around and do the other side. This is called breaking the hide. And you've got to break the hide. If you want soft leather, you have to break the hide. All right, that's all you have to do. About 3 times a day is it's drying 3 times a day. All right, guys, this is February 8th, and this thing is just full of ticks. Of course, there was engorged ticks there, but look at these little ones. Look how little they are. A couple other hides I did this year. I was going to show you the difference between breaking one and not breaking one. When you look how pretty and soft that hide is. The flesh side, the skin side. See how smooth that is when you break them. Whereas this one here, as it's drying, I didn't break. And see that? I mean, you can't even roll it up because it wasn't broken. And you'll have to rehydrate this and work it down so that it'll be flexible like this one here. See how flexible this one is by breaking it. But it's a lot of work breaking. So you can't even roll this one because I just tanned it and let it dry. You got to break them. So to break it, you're going to have to soak it in water overnight. You can't even, I mean, it is totally tanned, but you cannot do anything to it. And to break them, you just take it over a board, cable, string, rope. Okay, here's a hair-on one I did that's just now drying. We did break it halfway. Just gonna turn it into a wall hanger, I guess. But the reason I keep this, like that 12-pointer I shot this year, I cut the brisket too short, hoping that I can take some of this hide here and patch it in to the brisket. See that? If I can get enough of it where if I can get it to match, I don't know. But see all these little cracks in here? That's when you break it, see? You can roll it up, it's not hard. But that's what I'm hoping. That or we'll split it open here. That or we'll split it open here and just turn it into a wall hanger. We might need to hydrate it a little bit to get some of those wrinkled areas, get that hydrated, and if we're wanting to throw it over a couch or something. So I don't know how well the fur is going to match. If you're going to be mounting things, you need to have spare tanned hides laying around, so when you need a piece, see, I can probably use that right there and that right there for the legs and the brisket. So that's probably going to be the last of my tanning this year. So that would also work for a pack mount. You know what, now that I think about it,